What the actual heck? Alright, so today we're going to be doing a little dupe off. I'm actually testing two dupes for the Anastasia Subculture palette against each other. One of my eyes is one palette, one is the other right now. After I did the Wish app makeup, a bunch of you guys wanted me to try out Hush app makeup. I had never been on there, never shopped on there, and when I was kind of looking around, I came across the Bad Habit Retro Love palette, which looks pretty dang close to the Subculture palette. I didn't want to put the Hush one up against Subculture because, in my opinion, a piece of dog poop could beat the Subculture palette. I feel like you can only go up from here. So instead, I wanted to see if I could find a second dupe and put those dupes up against each other. So that's what we're doing. So this is the Makeup Revolution Reloaded Iconic Division palette. Makeup Revolution is also known for doing a lot of dupes. I'm not going to go full on into my thoughts on the Subculture palette because I do have a whole video on it. I'll link that down below. If you happen to love the Subculture palette, yay you, don't kill me. It's just an eyeshadow palette. We can all be friends and just keep using your palette if you like it. You don't have to get these dupes. So just some basic info on both of these palettes. The Makeup Revolution one retails for $7. This one retails for $10. You get 14 shades in this one, which is the same as the Anastasia. In the Makeup Revolution, you get 15 shades, so one more shade, and it is cheaper. And both of these products are cruelty-free, which is really cool. The Subculture palette is $42, so if we can find a dupe for that, let's do it. So cast your votes down below right now, which eye you think is which palette. So let's get into it. If you're excited for this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, you can join the Bayrito family and subscribe. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Also, I'm pretty sure this is uploading on a Friday. It's clearly not Foundation Friday today. Foundation Fridays will be a little bit different the next couple weeks because I am currently balls deep in pre-recording for 15 days of foundation. I haven't announced the dates yet, but that will be coming. All right, so we're gonna start off with some swatches of both of these palettes. Makeup Revolution is on the top. The Hush app palette is on the bottom. I'm not going to try and analyze these too much right now because I've already filmed this, so I know which one I like better. Since there's 15 shades in the Makeup Revolution and 14 in the Hush, they did add a black there at the end. My arm is clean, there's no lotion or anything on it, and this is without a base underneath. Alright, so I have my base makeup on right now. I always do my face before my eyes. It is rare that I do my eyes first. I typically don't find fallout to be that big of an issue. If I do have a little bit, I'll just brush it away with a big fluffy brush, and it usually comes right off. This is a pretty sticky base. I use this every single day when I do my eyeshadow, so that's what I have on both of my eyes right now, just to give both these palettes a fair test. If you've never seen the MAC Paint Pot, it's basically just a cream shadow base. I've used this for, oh my god, probably 10 years now. So we're gonna do one eye with one eye with the other. Which eye should we do? I guess let's just do this. Let's do the Revolution on this eye and the, what's this called? Retro Love on this eye. When I look at the colors in these palettes, I love them individually, and this is what happens with me with the Subculture too. It takes me forever to think about how I want to lay out the colors on my eyes. I never usually do that. I usually just kind of go in and see what happens with the palette. But I feel like with these colors, you do kind of have to plan ahead. There's some complementary colors in here, but then there's other ones where I'm like, I have no idea what the heck I would pair that with. So I still don't know what I'm doing. I kind of want to go in with the teals because when I did the Subculture video, I did like a really bright yellow mustardy kind of eye. Even though I'm definitely most drawn to this shade right here, I'm gonna refrain. We're still gonna use it. Don't get me wrong, I just don't want it to be like my all over lid color. I think we're gonna do some of the teals, maybe with a little pop of that mustard. I'm gonna kind of wipe off my brushes in between eyes just so there's not a whole lot of transfer between the two. All of the brushes I use will be down below in the description box along with everything else on my face. All right, we are zoomed, folks. I tried to pluck my eyebrows for you guys today because I knew we were gonna be all up in here. On this palette, there are no names, so I'm just gonna be pointing. So we're gonna start out with this shade right here, which is obviously like a light transition shade. It's called Peace in the Retro Love. If my eyes are hella red and bloodshot right now, it's because I'm filming this at 7:30 a.m. Just dipping my brush in here, this one is a lot more kind of dusty than the other one. It has a lot more kick up. It feels a lot, I don't want to say softer, it just feels like not as grippy as this side, and I'm not getting as much pigmentation either. This brush is the Morphe M511, it's what I use every day. This one I'm really having to build up to get the same kind of pigmentation. This side is definitely showing up better, even though I've built this up about 3 times now. By the way, when I'm filming this, I haven't done the swatches yet, so I don't know if there's any difference in the shades or formulas or anything like that yet. Now, what the heck am I doing? Okay, I'm gonna take the yellow mustard shade. I just gotta do it, but I'm not gonna put it on the lid. I'm just gonna put some into the crease. So going in with the Makeup Revolution one on this side. That one looks a lot more like a bright yellow to me. Showing up a little bit more mustard on camera, but in real life it looks pretty yellow, like straight up yellow. But it's nice and pigmented. What is going on outside? There's like 5,000 trucks. That is a pretty yellow. Has nice pigment to it. Yellow. Now going in with Rebel on the Retro Love side, and I'm gonna wipe off my brush. Rebel in the pan looks a little bit less of a bright mustard yellow and a little bit more of like a tan kind of yellow. So we'll see how this shows up on the eye. Doesn't seem to be blending out quite as easily. I'm definitely preferring so far the way that this one feels blending out and just sticks. I like that. I like a little bit of a firmer eyeshadow that has like a tiny bit of grip to it. I just find them most easy to work with. On the eye, those yellow shades look pretty similar. I think it's time to go in with some teal. The teal in the Makeup Revolution in the pan, again, haven't seen the swatches yet. In the pan, it almost looks like a cross between Mod and Free Love to me in the Retro Love palette. So let's start out with the Makeup Revolution teal shade. Ooh, this looks buttery. That one looks like it has a little bit of fallout. I kind of want to place it with a brush and then use my finger to really get the color payoff. Typically what I do with lid shades, because the difference between using a brush for your lid shade and your finger is huge. Like right now, this is looking not so great, not very impressive at all. But now let's see how it looks when I go in with a clean finger. There we go. It looks a bit patchy. I'm gonna blend out those edges and everything after, but I just wanted to get that color on there. So now I'm gonna wipe off my brush. Let's go in with Mod now. Interesting. Ooh, this one has quite a bit of fallout. What? Wow. Wow. I mean, if they're trying to replicate Subculture, this is pretty spot on. Am I right? Wow, this is Patch City. All right, I placed it down. I'm gonna use my finger again. It feels nice and buttery and soft. And again, using your finger makes a world of difference. It still is looking pretty weird and patchy in certain spots though, that I'm not really able to cover up. It just is clinging weird. Holy shit, sees this fallout is real. The shades look pretty similar. This one might be a touch darker, barely noticeable though. This, we're gonna have to do some working with. I'm gonna try and get rid of some of this fallout. This might be a total disaster. Using a super flimsy brush, like I usually use a stippling brush like this to do this, because then the product doesn't like attach to your face. I'm gonna take this orangey tan shade and then Fab in the Retro Love palette. I'm gonna blend that into the crease a bit and kind of blend out the edges of that blue. It's creating almost like a light army green almost, which looks kind of cool. All right, let's go in with Fab. We need to do some Oh man, this is bad. I'm so confused by that blue. Now it's just literally disappearing, and also what is going on up here. So I definitely need to go back in with Mod on my finger, and I'm gonna try and get this back in there. That is a weird shade, dude. That shade needs some work. Going back in with Fab, since now that's like gone. I don't know if there's any fix in this one. Okay, change of plans. Going back in with the shadow brush, and let's go back in with Mod to try and get this blended out on the edges somehow. What in the actual heck? Here's the Makeup Revolution side versus this side right now. It's literally just falling all over the place. Oh my god. Might be worse than Subculture. Might be worse. Okay, I want to take the purple shades in both palettes and use that for the lower lash line. This is the Makeup Revolution one, and then Nostalgia is the Retro Love. Both these look like kind of a muted, deep purple. I think I like Nostalgia better on this one. I'll take a little blending brush and go with the lighter shade, so Rock and Roll in the Retro Love, and this shade in the Makeup Revolution. I feel like that's a very wearable purple. It's not too obnoxiously purple. Like if you have green eyes and you just want to make them pop, you could just do your regular eye makeup and pop some of this on the lower lash line. That one seems to be totally fine. I'm not getting a ton of fallout with that one either. I have an idea, but this might be a total disaster. I'm gonna test it on my hand. I'm gonna take the same teal shade that's on my lid right now, and I wanna see what this copper would look like on top of it. Could look like total shitsies. That might work. I'm thinking if I can do that, it might kind of save this eye if I can put some of the copper right in the center. That shade looks pretty. Look at that copper. Let's try the Revolution one. Whoa, this one's called Revolution. That looks like a totally different shade. Okay, let me do it with Maud underneath. Look at how Maud just swatched. What the actual heck? Something needs to happen with this. Okay, let's try and put the copper. So I already have the Makeup Revolution one on my finger. I'm gonna put that right on the center. Just layering this up a bunch. I'm gonna take Revolution now from the Retro Love. Oh, there we go. There we go. I think that is kind of helping the situation, maybe. Kind of my only options for right here are the white shades, which is more of like a purple, which actually might look kind of good. It's like a duochrome. Definitely looks a bit chalkier in the Retro Love. Or I could do the light lime. Ooh, that one's pretty scratchy in the Makeup Revolution. The Retro Love one looks much more pigmented and was way softer. And just put that on the lower, maybe we'll do it on the center too. This one, I think I want to wet, yeah. All right, just wet it with some setting spray. Just kind of pressing it in. Now let's take Icon. Oh yeah, this one is so freaking soft. Okay, that shade is pretty. Looks a bit more green than this one. This one has a little bit more of like a gold reflect to it, a light gold. Now this one looks a little weak sauce. Not my favorite look ever. All right, so the makeup on the rest of my face is done. I put on some liquid eyeliner and then also some black liner on my waterline. Put on Pure Diva lashes. On my lips is Bare Minerals, yes. These are very sticky, but they're super pigmented. Like I didn't put any lipstick or anything on underneath this. Blush, I used MAC Bareness blush. My highlight is, oh, this thing is so freaking pretty. Where did I put it? This new MAC Real Glow. This is like their first true highlighters, I feel like. It's a 3-pan highlighting palette. I went in with this shade. I've used this a few times now, and it is beautiful. You can kind of build it up. When I was playing around with this the first night, you can get that like strobe effect kind of look. It is very intense. And then for kind of a bronzer, I used Bare Minerals Gen Nude in Beige for Days. I think this is technically supposed to be a blush, but I just kind of used it to warm up my face. So now that the eyes are done, I think it was definitely a good call to go in with the copper shade because it kind of made it so this blue isn't quite as noticeable how shitty it is. I think if you were just looking at my eyes now, you probably wouldn't be able to tell how crappy this one is, but working with this is pretty much a nightmare. There are a couple decent shades in here, like that Icon shade, the light lime green one, and then also the Revolution shade is pretty. But overall, just the consistency, the way that they blend out, the pigmentation, I would definitely hands down go with the Makeup Revolution one, and this one is cheaper. It's $3 cheaper, $7 for this palette. I think is worth it. I mean, if you like the tones of the Subculture, you just hated the formula, or you didn't want to spend $42 on it, then I mean, I would take this one over Subculture any day. If they put the green shade from this palette into this one, it would be perfect. But out of the shades that I used, hands down, easy win right here. Makeup Revolution definitely takes the cake. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, you can join the Bayrito family and subscribe. Upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'm gonna have everything on my face linked down below and these two palettes. I don't know if I can link off the Hush app, but it's from the Hush Pap. Got a great image of pap smears. It's on the Hush app if you just search it. Not that I recommend you buy that one. But I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.